Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. Have you ever thought about what would happen if Voldemort had an heir? What if the Dark Lord and his most devoted follower, Bellatrix Lestrange, secretly had a child, a sorceress as ruthless and powerful as them both? In today's video, you will find out the shocking truth about Delphi, Voldemort's hidden daughter, and the last hope of the Dark Lord's legacy. Voldemort and Bellatrix were two of the most feared figures in the entire Harry Potter saga. He was the Dark Lord, a ruthless tyrant obsessed with blood purity and willing to sacrifice anyone to achieve his vision of a wizard-dominated world. She was his most loyal Death Eater, standing by him even when others abandoned him, carrying out his cruelest orders without question. But in the midst of war and chaos, they did something no one expected. They had a child. Her name was Delphi, and her existence changed everything. How could such a union even be possible? Bellatrix's obsession with Voldemort was no secret. For years she worshipped him, blindly following his every command. But Voldemort, a man incapable of love, never reciprocated her feelings. Born under the effects of a love potion, he lacked the ability to truly care for anyone. Yet, during the final years of the war, Voldemort realized one thing. His bloodline, one that traced back to Salazar Slytherin himself, would end with him. And that was something he could not allow. Perhaps that's why he chose Bellatrix, a pure-blood witch from the prestigious Black family, to carry his heir. And so, in secret, Delphi was born. But what made her so dangerous? Delphi's story is told only in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, a controversial addition to the saga officially recognized as canon by J.K. Rowling herself. According to the play, Delphi was born in Malfoy Manor just before the Battle of Hogwarts. After Voldemort's downfall, she was hidden away, raised by a woman who cared for her only in exchange for gold. She grew up alone, abandoned, and full of questions. That changed when her mother's husband, Rodolphus Lestrange, escaped from Azkaban. He revealed the truth. She was the daughter of the greatest dark wizard of all time, and her destiny was to bring him back. Delphi's plan was as brilliant as it was terrifying. She manipulated Amos Diggory, Cedric's grieving father, using his pain to gain access to Harry Potter's son, Albus. Through lies and deception, she convinced him and his best friend, Scorpius Malfoy, to steal a time turner. The goal? To rewrite history and prevent Voldemort's death. Her mission led to a chaotic spiral of alternate realities, near successes, and shocking twists. She fought fiercely, demonstrating abilities beyond ordinary magic. She could speak Parseltongue, fly without a broom, and duel multiple opponents at once. She was powerful enough to defeat Harry Potter himself in combat, but even she was not unstoppable. In the end, it took the combined strength of Harry, Albus, Ron, Hermione, and Draco to bring her down. And even then, it was no easy battle. Delphi was ultimately imprisoned in Azkaban, her dreams of reviving Voldemort crushed forever. Many believed that Delphi's imprisonment in Azkaban was the end of her story, but darkness rarely fades so easily. Even behind the cold iron bars of the wizarding prison, whispers of her name continued to spread. For years, Azkaban had housed the most dangerous criminals in the wizarding world, Death Eaters, dark wizards, and those who had defied the Ministry. But Delphi was different. She was not just a follower of the Dark Lord, she was his blood, his legacy, and to some, his rightful heir. There were those who still remained loyal to Voldemort's cause. Scattered and in hiding, they waited for a new leader, someone who could restore what had been lost. Many of them had been captured after the Second Wizarding War, others had gone into exile, blending into the shadows. but all of them still believed in his vision. And some believed that Delphi was the key to bringing that vision back to life. Azkaban was meant to be inescapable, but history had shown that even the most fortified prisons could not hold true darkness forever. The years passed. Delphi remained locked away, but her mind was never at rest. She spent her days in silence, thinking, waiting, listening. She had underestimated Harry Potter and his allies once. She would not make the same mistake again. Then, one night, everything changed. It started with a storm, a violent, unnatural force that rolled over the North Sea, crashing against the walls of Azkaban. The guards, now no longer Dementors but auras assigned by the Ministry, felt something was wrong. The air was heavy, thick with a magic they couldn't quite identify. And then, without warning, the power inside Azkaban failed. Doors groaned on their hinges, lanterns flickered and died. The very walls of the prison seemed to tremble, and in the chaos that followed, a single cell door swung open. Delphi stepped forward into the darkness. No one knew exactly how it happened. No spell was cast, no outside force had been detected, but somehow she was free. By the time the Ministry realized what had occurred, it was too late. Delphi was gone, vanished into the night, leaving behind only a single message scratched into the stone of her cell. The Dark Lord will return. Panic spread through the wizarding world. The Daily Prophet was filled with headlines warning of her escape. The Ministry launched an immediate search, sending auras across Britain, Europe, and beyond. Every possible hiding place was investigated, every known Death Eater interrogated, but there was no trace of her. Harry Potter knew better than anyone what this meant. He had spent years fighting against Voldemort, years seeing how darkness never truly died. He knew Delphi was out there somewhere, and he knew she would not stop until she achieved her goal. But how could she bring Voldemort back? The Time Turners had been destroyed. Every known magical method of resurrection had failed. Even the darkest rituals required something Voldemort no longer had, a physical body. Unless, of course, there was another way. Rumors began to circulate. Stories of dark magic that had been lost to time. Ancient spells that could not only resurrect a soul, but reshape reality itself. Some believed Delphi was searching for these secrets. Others feared she had already found them. And then, one by one, people began to disappear. It started with the old allies of Voldemort, former Death Eaters who had managed to evade capture. Followers who had sworn they would never betray their master. They vanished without a trace, leaving behind only shattered glass and the lingering scent of dark magic. Then the disappearances spread. Wizards and witches, seemingly unconnected, gone overnight. Some were known for their knowledge of rare magical artifacts. Others had studied the deepest, most forbidden branches of magic. Harry could see the pattern. Delphi was building something, gathering those who could help her, collecting knowledge that should have remained buried. But the worst part was that no one knew what she was planning. Until the dreams began. Albus Potter was the first to see them. At first, they were nothing more than flickers of shadow, whispers in the dark. But then they grew stronger. He saw a place, an ancient ruin buried beneath the earth. A place where magic pulsed like a living thing, older than Hogwarts itself. He saw Delphi standing there, her eyes burning with the same cold fire as her father's. And he heard the words echoing through his mind like a curse. The past is not yet written. Scorpius Malfoy had the same dream. So did others, wizards across Britain, all of them seeing the same vision, hearing the same message. The Ministry was quick to dismiss it as paranoia, but Harry knew better. He had seen prophecies before. He knew how dangerous they could be. And he knew one thing for certain. Delphi had found something that could change everything. The search intensified. Harry, Ron, Hermione, Draco, all of them came together once more, just as they had years ago. They followed every lead, chased every rumor. They uncovered texts hidden deep within the archives of the Department of Mysteries. They spoke to those who had once dabbled in the darkest of magics. And then at last they found it.
A name, a place.
The Hollow of Shadows. It was a location whispered about in the oldest wizarding texts. A forgotten sanctuary where ancient magic still thrived. Some believed it was the resting place of spells more powerful than anything seen before. Others thought it was a doorway, a portal to a time long past.
And Delphi was already there.
Harry and the others had no choice. They had to go after her. What awaited them was beyond anything they had imagined. A place untouched by time, where magic moved like a living force. A place where the very fabric of reality could be rewritten. And standing at its heart was Delphi. She was no longer just the daughter of Voldemort. She was something more, something terrifying. She turned to face them, and for the first time she smiled. The Dark Lord's legacy was never meant to end, she said. And with a single whispered spell, the world around them shattered.